All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases two-man show today. Bryan Leonard is on his way back to the state of Ohio. So we hope he has safe travels. Hopefully he doesn't hit any weather because we have some serious weather going on here in the state of New York. Just coming up my way now, Tokyo Brandon. It washed out the Braves-Mets game last night. And so, yeah, that weather's coming my way. 16 games on the Major League Baseball slate today. Of course, the Braves and Mets are going to try to get a doubleheader in. We'll see if they all get in with the weather. But where we're going to start is the Windy City. So first time we've talked about, well, actually, before we get to this game, how did your night go?
Yeah, I swept. I went 2-0 in Major League. I had the Diamondbacks first five and forgot what else, but it came out okay. So 2-0 there, and I went 1-1 in the KBO, so not too bad. I'm not complaining.
Our third co-host, like I said, he's going to be traveling east today. Had a great night as well. Bryan Leonard went 4-1 overall yesterday, and I had a really good night. I went 3-1, a 3-0 sweep in Major League Baseball. And so again, I have 5 MLB winners in a row. I believe, well, the Oklahoma City Comets, Tokyo Brandon, snapped my overall win streak last night. Just some of the worst baseball you'll see. Multiple just routine plays botched, a double play ball thrown into right field. But it is what it is. We had a good day, and we'll be looking to do it again today. Now let's get to the games. We've got people filing in here. We're going to start things off in the Windy City. Very interesting game here because, of course, this is 2 first-place teams. Now, the Yankees, best team in the American League. I don't think anyone's disputing that at this point. I don't even think there's another team. I understand that the Rays have a better record right now, but you'd have a lot of convincing to do to make me think the Tampa Bay Rays are a better team than the Yankees. I just think the Yankees, they're power rated number 1 for me. What makes this matchup interesting, though, is the Chicago White Sox are also a first-place team, 55-51, even with back-to-back losses, even with the 2 games in this series, losing the first 2, they still sit at the top of the AL Central by a game and a half over the Guardians. So, big game here. White Sox kind of need one. Getting swept is not going to be the best thing for them when they're trying to hold off the Guardians, the Twins, and even the Tigers, who are all on their tail. The question is, do you think they can salvage one in this series? White Sox, Yankees, how do you see it?
That's crazy. I went 2-0 in MLB, and people are still complaining that one of my games got rained out. You guys, come on. I went 2-0. Give me a break. Yeah, get a double play, guys. Adam, Brian, and we're all hot right now, and you can get 2 of us for 3 days, and it's a huge discount. That includes all 5% plays included. So great deal. So this is probably the most interesting game on the board. I'll definitely be interested in watching this because 2 pitchers that I like. But Schlittler came out of nowhere. I didn't expect him to be this good this season, but he is one of the top 5 pitchers perhaps in MLB, definitely top 10. So Davis Martin started off really well this season, but he's tailed off a bit. Not quite as good as he was before, and actually the Yankees have really good stats against him. They have absolutely crushed him, and the sample size is pretty good. Now, this is before he started this year's stellar campaign. So which Davis Martin are we going to see today is kind of the big question. The Yankees do have a better bullpen. I got them ranked about 3 notches ahead of the White Sox. And I have Schlittler ranked way higher than Davis Martin, despite me liking Davis Martin to start the season. On his expected numbers not quite as good as his straight up ERA. So I would have to take the Yankees in this one, although their hitting is lacking quite a bit right now. I got their hitting ranked 26 out of 30 right now, but that can come around against the pitcher that they have been able to get to. I think Schlittler will shut the White Sox down pretty well. I would either look at an under, or if you want to take a side, I would go with the Yankees here.
Tokyo Brandon, I am in full agreement there. I pulled up the odds on this game, and I was like, man, the Yankees really only minus 140 here with Cam Schlittler on the mound. Listen, I hyped the White Sox up as much as anyone coming into the season. They have far exceeded expectations, being 4 games over 500 right now and in first place in the AL Central. It's a tricky thing for me here because I still think, if I look at these teams in the AL Central, I still think the White Sox might be the best team in that division. I think, the Guardians obviously have an argument, but that team doesn't hit. The Twins are hot, but I don't know if they're a better team than the White Sox. And the Tigers, I guess, have the most upside, but they're still 5 games back. But I think the White Sox have gotten a little overvalued at this point by how good their season has gone to this point. I think if you've watched them play this past month, they haven't looked quite as good as they did the first couple months of the season. So, this is a team, I believe they've now lost 5 of their last 7 games. I think there was clear regression for this team coming, and they're experiencing it right now. And, to get the White Sox kind of on the decline, which is really sort of how it's been going since the All-Star break, and be able to play against Davis Martin, who, had a really good start to the season, but I always I got to be honest, and this might be a little harsh, but I always thought he was kind of a 4A type pitcher. I always thought he'd be like, kind of one of those guys that's really good in AAA and then struggles in the big leagues, goes back to AAA, is good, struggles in the big leagues. He's far exceeded my expectations to this point, but the hard hit rate, top 10% in the league, expected batting average is nearing 270. It's 266 coming into this game. You mean to tell me we can get Schlittler and the Yankees at minus 140, even with a tired bullpen? Kind of one of the better spots to bet the Yankees, in my opinion. Tough to find value on the Yankees. I actually think you might have some value on the Yankees here.
Kind of agree. Either that or an under.
Yeah, and I mean, just if you want to, I'm sure that the first 5, I don't have it in front of me, is priced up further. But even if you isolate that into Schlittler against Davis Martin, I mean, that's a huge mismatch. And then you've got the better team with Schlittler. So I don't know. I don't have that first 5 money line in front of me, but that seems like another way you could go as well.
Yeah. The Yankees hitting doesn't concern you at all, though? They're not really hitting real well right now.
I guess it doesn't in this instance, because if you're going to break out, it's probably against a guy like Davis Martin. Bottom 10% in the league in hard hit. Feels like a game where they square a couple up. And listen, you got Cam Schlittler on the mound. How much offense do you need here, TV?
True. Very true. So, I agree with you. I was just being devil's advocate because their hitting ranking kind of bothers me. That's all.
Yeah, it's definitely worth noting. See, the Yankees are one of those teams, though, where I think they can hit poorly for a week, get the right matchup, and then put up a 10 spot. And then it just goes in the other direction. Because clearly they have the juice in that lineup. I know they're missing some guys. It's still a pretty good lineup for, going against a guy like Davis Martin. If they were against a legitimate arm here, different conversation, in my opinion.
You don't think Davis Martin's a legitimate arm? Wow. 10 spot. That's pretty optimistic, my friend.
I don't think Davis Martin is a legitimate MLB guy you're surely going to have in your rotation type guy. Now, he's trending toward that this year. But if I'm looking at his entire career, watching all of his games at Charlotte, do I think he's just a, last, 2 years ago, 1.46 whip. Last year was pretty good. This year's been pretty good. But again, I don't know. The hard hit concerns me, TB. I'm not ready to put him in there just yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Something concerning my dogs out front, so you'll have to bear with me there. Go ahead, TB.
He's definitely not pitching as well as he was in the first half of the season. That's for sure. And even then, he was giving some hard hit, but he was kind of getting a little lucky there. So, yeah, I think reality is hit. He's still a good pitcher, I think. I'm a little higher on him than you are, but he's no comparison to Cam Schlittler right now.
Yeah, and the thing is, for me, the only real the concern I have with Martin is the same concern I have with the White Sox, where it's this general regression from playing 3 months of baseball where the White Sox really played what I thought was hey, they're playing over their heads. Now, I think it's safe. I think it's fair to say that this is a 500 ball club. Maybe, they're 55 and 51. I think they hang out maybe they win 82 games at the ceiling, but Martin's regressed and the White Sox have regressed a little bit. And that's just not the profile you want up against the Yankees with one of the best pitchers in the game. Cam Schlittler right now, Tokyo Brandon, is neck and neck with Dylan Cease to win the Cy Young in the American League. So that's just not the guy I want to play against right now with this White Sox team.
Agreed. Yep.
All right, let's get back into the chat. Alex Rand, welcome in. He says, morning, gents. One more time with the Cubs today. I'm glad you brought this game up. Tokyo Brandon, shout out to you. I was watching this game last night. I said on the show yesterday, you use Cubs for your parlay leg. Of course, a 2 out of 3 in the parlay. You and I both hit our leg of the parlay, but we seem to, the three of us can't hit one. We keep going 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, which is not the worst thing in the world for you guys if you're betting them straight. But shout out to you because you gave out the Cubs. I played devil's advocate. I pushed back and said, hey, like these are the reasons I like the Cardinals. You were 100% right about that game. And as I'm watching, someone jumped into the YouTube comments and was like, why are you overthinking this one? The Cubs, their lineup is so much better. They're just clearly the better team. It's clear it's the Cubs. And 2 innings into that game, I was like, I felt so stupid because I come on the show a month ago and said, sell this Cardinals team. The Cardinals are only going to get worse. They're going to trend toward being a 500 team or worse. And that's exactly what's happening. And if you go back to the beginning of the season, they were a bottom 5, bottom 10 team for a lot of people. And I think, I felt like I had the foresight. I saw that a month ago. And then here I am yesterday trying to make a case for the Cardinals when the Cubs are just clearly the superior team. So shout out to you for a great call there. Matthew Boyd, Dustin May, what are you doing Cubs Cardinals today?
Yeah, I mean, you've been right and I've been wrong. It goes back and forth. But to me, according to my rankings, the Cardinals are the only team that ranks 21st or worse in every single category that I have. And that's pretty rare. So according to my numbers, they're absolutely the worst team in MLB right now. Doesn't mean they're worse than the Rockies. Obviously, their record is better. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in current form right now, their batting, their pitching is in absolute shambles. So it's definitely not a team I could back right now. And the Cubs, although they've shown some underwhelming moments this season, they certainly have a lot of talent in that lineup. Even their 6 through 9 can give them production sometimes, which is why the Dodgers are so good, because their 6 through 9 are almost always giving them production. And so, you got guys like Hap and guys like that who can actually come out and give you production. So Cardinals, I don't see that. Who Newt Bar, is he going to give you production? I mean, so looking at today's matchup, though, Dustin May's had a pretty good season. I've never really, since he left the Dodgers, I have not liked him very much. I thought he was a decent pitcher with the Dodgers, but after that, it just went downhill. And he's having a decent season right now, but against these Cubs in 36 at-bats against, he's giving a 306 average and a 1,071 OPS. So definitely not a guy I can back today, especially with their lineup in somewhat shambles. And their bullpen ranked currently 24 out of 30, according to my rankings, where I got the Cubs ranked 8 in bullpens. So I would go back to the Cubs today if you were betting aside. I actually think an over might be better because I don't really like Boyd's numbers against these Cardinals either. So I think an over might be a better play than the side, but if you want to bet aside, bet aside. I would take the Cubs, but I kind of like the over here. Am I hard to hear again, you guys? Oh, okay. One guy says I'm hard to hear. Everyone else says I'm fine. So Adam can do the show by himself if you guys are going to complain that I'm too quiet. Or I'll get a new microphone. Adam, you're muted now. Muted. Adam, you are muted.
Well, yeah, if I'm muted, you can't hear me if I'm muted. Yeah, sorry. My dogs were excited about something. I think they just want to go outside. It's raining here right now, so they probably want to get out there. So yeah, sorry. What I was going to say is I could hear you, it's a little quieter, but we'll keep playing with the volume. The point is, we're just trying to, TB's been having some mic trouble, but we're just trying to get you the info. So if you can hear, turn it up a little bit when he's talking.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. As far as this game is concerned for me though, TB, I think it's Cubs or pass for me here as well. Cubs this season, 111 WRC plus. It's third in Major League Baseball behind the Dodgers and the Nationals. You're absolutely right. This offense, 1 through 9. I think that's something that we talked about even from like back earlier this year when Pete Crow Armstrong was struggling and the Cubs had dropped him in the order. And suddenly, like you were looking at a lineup that had PCA hitting 7th, 8th, or 9th. And now, yeah, he's moved back up, but it just means that another guy has been moved down in the order that is still a contributor. They really do have no weak spot in the lineup. And you can't say that about many big league teams. Now you come up against a guy in Dustin May. Yes, he's been better than I think people expected him to be after the horror show that was his time in Boston, right? So he's been a little bit better for the Cardinals. He too, though, bottom 5% in the league in hard hit rate. That's just not what you want to see against a lineup like the Cubs, where everyone can hit, because it probably means he's getting squared up at some point, and it's going to lead to runs. And the final thing I'll say about this game, Tokyo Brandon, is the Cardinals feel the same as the White Sox do to me, where they played as good as they could possibly play for 3 months, and now we are just seeing some general regression to the mean from a team that, yeah, they're probably better than we gave them credit for coming into the season, but I just don't think that this is anything other than a 500 baseball club. And so for that reason, I still think they're being priced like a team that's better than that. And that's why you're seeing a -110, a -115 here on the Cubs. So yeah, after yesterday, I'm kind of shocked that you can get the Cubs in this sort of playable range.
So am I.
Yeah, that was that. So to answer the chat question here, I think it's Jeremiah says, Papa Trig, can we get a 4%er? I haven't bet anything yet today, so I don't have anything yet to give you for client play. With that being said, the game I used yesterday with the A's on the show became a client play, one of my 3 that I went 3-0 on yesterday. So maybe we will, but I have not bet anything yet. And the reason, Tokyo Brandon, I haven't bet anything yet is I very interesting sort of across the board. I think the books did a pretty good job today. And I also think that they hung some numbers that are make it very tempting to take a team like the Yankees or a team like the Cubs, where it almost feels too obvious, but it's like the only way I could go in the game. So yeah, it's a tricky day so far as I'm seeing the lines here. But we're here to find winners. We're also, again, if you want to know when we bet, the best way to just get all of our plays, get them right when we release them, not have to worry about it. Tokyo Brandon, tell them the double play package.
Yeah, the double play. You can get 2 of us 3 for 3 days at a huge discount. I think it's like $50-something or something. It's really cheap. And that includes 5% plays that we put out in those 3 days. 5% plays are normally $35, so it's a huge value. You get everything, all access, 2 of us for 3 days. Adam and I are vying for number 2 right now. Hakeem's number 1. I think we're about 8 units below him, but Adam and I keep going back and forth, second and third, among 33 cappers at WagerTalk. That's nothing to sneeze at. These are 33 of the best cappers in the world, and Adam and I are vying for a silver medal right now. So pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and play. Yeah, TB and I jockeying for position in that number 2 spot. Listen, it's only July. I mean, there's actually quite a few people that are in striking distance. And shout out to Ski. That's my guy. If I'm not going to be one and someone else is going to be, obviously TB, I root for you. I root for Brian. I don't root against anyone, but obviously I want to see the Total Basis crew do well. My guy Rob Bino, who's my co-host on the other shows, and Ski's my boy. So I know. Listen, it's going to be hard to catch him during WNBA season. I'll tell you that, because he's printing right now on the women's basketball. So check him out. If you are, even if you do, I don't even know what I said. Even if you're not interested in women's basketball, if you're interested in money and cashing tickets, that's your guy. He's in season right now there, and that's a big reason why TB and I can't catch him, even though we're having good seasons. So we keep winning bets. But all right, let's get back to the chat. Here's it. So Colin Gregory says my dog's barking is a sign to take the Orioles. Who would be dogs barking pushed him onto the Orioles. Well, let's talk about that game, Tokyo Brandon. Yesterday was 2 days ago, the Orioles won as a slight underdog. Yesterday, the Orioles got blanked in pretty emphatic fashion. I lost track of the score in that game, but I believe we had a final of 14-0. That wasn't the Lions versus the Ravens. That was the Tigers versus the Orioles. 2 touchdowns for the Tigers. They win the game 14-0. Colin looking to come back on him as a dog today. One of the better pitching matchups we've got going on in Major League Baseball and a day game. Tariq Skubal on his home mound against Trevor Rogers. How do you see this one?
Absolutely. And I have 2 4% plays today in Major League Baseball. And those would be included if you get a double play with me and Adam, or Adam and myself, shall I say. And Stacy Bice in the comments, chilling in North Carolina poolside, listening to our show. Living the life, my friend. Now all we need to do is cash you some bets so you can pay for the next chlorine change for your pool. Let's get that done today. Looking at this game, yes, the Tigers absolutely put some touchdowns up, just trounced them. But usually teams cool off a little bit after that. And yeah, we got 2 good pitchers here. Despite yesterday's offensive starburst explosion, I still have Detroit ranked 17 out of 30 teams, and I have the Orioles ranked 15 out of 30 teams in run production. Neither bullpen performing very well right now. Tigers ranked 20, Orioles ranked 13. And then starting pitching, what else can you say about Tariq Skubal? His record doesn't show it, but he's got elite stuff. He does hit some bumps sometimes, but I don't expect him to have too much trouble holding the Orioles bats down, at least for the first 5 innings here. And Trevor Rogers, I expect Detroit to cool off a little bit after yesterday's explosion inferno, shall we say, gas fire. So I think the first 5 under would probably be the way to play this game. If you can get a 4 or a 4.5 in the first 5 innings, I think that would be an excellent way to go. So that's how I would play this one if I were to play it.
So, Colin, I'm with you. I really want to like the Orioles here. And I do think that there's some value with them as an underdog, but I need to see a lineup first. For whatever reason, Craig Alvarez lineup construction has confused me at times. For example, you're up against Tariq Skubal. Like, you have to have Kobe Mayo in the lineup. I understand he's hitting under 200, and he's not like your everyday guy at this point, but his splits are so good against left-handed pitching that he simply has to be out there against Skubal. And the only reason, like, I'm sitting here saying that, you guys are probably like, of course he'll be out there, right? It's not rocket science. The guy's got like a 900 plus OPS against left-handed pitching. But the other day, he was up against a lefty against the Red Sox, and he wasn't in the lineup. And neither was another one of their players who's escaping me right now. That should be in the lineup against left-handed pitching. Christian Encarnacion Strand at this point should be in the lineup every single day. He's one of their best hitters, and he wasn't in the lineup the other day. And then the final thing is, and I don't know if this move should have been made a week ago or more. Creed Willems should be their big league catcher at this point, because the Orioles right now might as well have 8 guys and a pitcher hitting. Their catcher spot since Samuel Basallo got hurt has been an automatic out. And they have a guy at AAA who's a bat. Creed Willems can hit. Probably the best hitter on that AAA roster, but he was a little bit banged up, and they haven't wanted to call him up. Now, he caught last night in Norfolk, caught Chris Bassett. I know he's probably not as good of a defensive catcher, but you cannot run out a lineup at this point that has an auto out in the 9-hole. And that's essentially what the Orioles have done ever since Basallo has been hurt. So I need to see so Colin, to answer your question, I do like the Orioles here. I'd love to find a way to play the Orioles here, but I need to see a lineup with the right look, with all the bats in it that hit left-handed pitching. Don't understand why he's so stubborn in that regard sometimes. And then personally, I would have loved a little bit better price to get that run and a half. I kind of felt like that's something that I would get. But then again, Trevor Rogers has been really good. Something we've talked about him on the show quite a bit, Tokyo Brandon. He's starting to look like the Trevor Rogers of last year a little bit. Where is he coming out in your current rankings? I got to imagine he's pretty close to the top. He's been awesome.
Yes. And we would be remiss if we did not mention that our colleague who is not with us has a 5% play out today. So
didn't even see that.
Brian on the road, his 5% plays cash at a pretty high clip. So let's mention that for our guy, Brian, who is back in Ohio with poor internet, apparently. So he can't join us, unfortunately. But a double play would include his 5% if you get him plus Adam or myself. So, it's a great deal. Great special. And actually, all three of us are really good, so you can't really go wrong.
Can't go wrong, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And the final thing I'll say about Trevor Rogers, because we've talked about him, of course, last year he was incredible. The year before, he struggled. This year, he started off slow, but he's really starting to look like the guy that turned in a sub-1 whip last year. Last time out, 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts, no walks against the Braves. The time before that, 6 1/3, 1 run, 8 strikeouts against the Astros. Tokyo Brandon, you made a comment when he came up on the show last time. He's doing it against really good lineups as well.
Right.
Braves, Astros, Cubbies, Nationals, Dodgers. Those are the 5 lineups that he shut down recently. Yeah. Tigers don't have a great lineup. They just don't.
Yeah. Like I said, I have him ranked 20 out of 30 currently, despite yesterday's explosion. So, yeah. I think the first 5 under would probably be the way to go. We don't have our line man here, so I'll look up what it is. But if it's 4.5, I'll definitely make that a parlay league. I have a feeling it's not 4.5 because Scooble is on the mound. But if you could get a 4 for that, it's not bad. I'll take a look right now and find out. I know this is bad radio.
Well, while you're doing that,
it's 4 at -119. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna double check that for you. I think. I'm just going to check a couple books as well. Yeah, Brian's the one that's usually glued to the odds screen during the show. But I too see plenty of 4 -120s out there. TB, I think that's a fair price.
I think I'll make that my parlay leg, actually. Yeah, let's go under 4 in the Tigers Orioles game for -120. It's probably -115, but we'll say -120 because it's a parlay. So. Under 4.
And that that's first 5 under 4 in Tigers Orioles.
Correct. And make it -120.
Yep.
By the way, Scott, LG, they look horrible. I know this is not a KBO show, but LG is not a really good hitting team, but they're a very good pitching team, but they got derailed tonight.
Yeah, listen, I know it's not a KBO show, but it's just you and me today. I think it's probably gone final at this point. I'll lose my KBO bet this morning. That's the one that's the one place I'm giving back right now. MLB, red hot. AAA, I'm still up like over 35 units, I think, on the season. KBO, I've given back my profit. I'm only probably up a unit now after today. Curtis Taylor, former Memphis Redbirds, St. Louis Cardinals, hit someone in the head. And if you hit someone in the head in the KBO, you're automatically out of the game. So my starting pitcher was out in the 3rd inning. Yeah.
Here's a funny thing about Asian baseball, not only Korea, but also in Japan. If you hit a batter, not in the head, but if you hit him even in the shoulder, you have to tip your hat. It's a rule. You have to tip your hat and say, I'm sorry to him. And if you don't, it's a brawl.
I got to be honest. Curtis Taylor looked very shaken up. Like he probably left the game and went to the hospital to check on that guy. So it was not a head strike. It was, fortunately, thank God that the piece, everyone wears that piece that protects their jaw because he got hit square in the jaw, but the helmet did take some of the impact. So yeah, that was a scary scene in the KT Wiz NC Dino game this morning. And yeah, that one did not go my way. I was on
KBO
NC.
is actually KBO is actually where I'm making most of my money, more than MLB actually. So
Yeah, you're having a great. Yeah, Tokyo Brandon
yeah,
has crushed the KBO this season,
yeah.
which is
And
is
Adam's
very
been
impressive.
crushing the minor leagues. We're crushing those smaller leagues better than MLB, but I'm still plus units in MLB
But
as
here's
well.
the thing,
So
Tokyo Brandon, that's going to be almost any year. We're probably going to win more in the smaller leagues. There's just a bigger edge, softer
yeah,
lines, more
the
opportunity.
numbers, yeah, the
Yep,
numbers are ice cream. They're soft. So
they're
yeah,
ice cream. Yeah, so yeah.
yeah.
Freebird, he says, thanks, Brian, Trig, and TB. Won in MLB yesterday. 9-1 in MLB yesterday. Sorry, I almost understated. What a day for Freebird. He said, let's roll again today. Um,
The
yeah,
world
let's roll
traveler
again today. Our guy
Freebird.
Andrew McKinnis is in. Andrew McKinnis, great follow for a number of sports. CFL, listen, that's another one. Build a portfolio. Right now during the summer, everyone's like, hey, there's nothing to bet on. It's baseball. It's nothing. Ski Profit, it's cooking in WNBA. McKinnis
Yes.
is winning in CFL. That guy has won in CFL since I've known him
Yeah.
for years. So
Yep.
McKinnis, quick question here. He says, curious how you guys handicap games with openers. I'm sure you've touched on it in the past. Thoughts on Texas today and Texas team total? Well, McKinnis, you hit a sore subject for openers with Tokyo Brandon. He hates openers. I don't
Yeah.
mind them. I typically handicap the game with who I think the bulk starting pitcher is going to be. So that's how I do it. I'll look at the pitchers, I track all the pitchers, and whoever is going to be like the bulk guy is typically how I would handicap the game with that person as the starter. It's tricky because there are sometimes TB where it becomes a true bullpen game, and then it's a little tougher. Tokyo Brandon kind of avoids them sometimes. I get why I understand why you don't like them because it just adds another element into the mix where you could
Yeah.
be down 3-0 before your starter gets into the game.
Yeah. I mean, my whole point about openers is if your starting pitcher is good, you don't need an opener. You don't see, Scooble with an opener in front of him. You don't see Yamamoto with an opener in front of him. Why? Because they're good. So the only reason I see managers using openers for is to protect their starter because he's not good. That's my point. So opener. When you use an opener, the manager is telling me that his starting pitcher is crap.
Well, it tells me not necessarily that they're crap, but that they're certainly not trusted as like a more seasoned big league starting pitcher would be trusted. It's a little bit of a training wheels type deal, right?
Exactly.
Where it's like you know that you don't really want that guy going a third time through the order. So what you're going to do to offset that is put someone in front of him, and then that way when he gets to the fifth inning or so, he's probably only on the second time through the lineup. So you are right, TB. It is a sign of big manager doesn't really trust this guy explicitly. So he's going to play the matchups in the first inning and try to get him deeper into the game that way. There
He's
is
protecting his. He's protecting him,
now
kind of.
the one time, and this is a segue into McKinnis's game, and we'll talk about this. There are a
The
couple
Rangers.
teams. There are a couple teams that just do it better than other teams. And the Rays may have invented this. Remember, the Rays were like
They
the
did.
first team to start using an opener. They have one of the
They
best
were.
analytics departments. They are on the cutting edge of stuff like this. So if the Rays want to put a guy in front of Ian Seymour today, or whoever, it looks like it's going to be Ian Seymour and maybe
It
Legavina
is.
in front of him.
Yeah. Actually,
That's
Seymour was listed
yes,
about an hour, 2 hours ago. So yeah, and then they changed it. Yeah.
that is a situation that's totally fine with me because I truly believe the Rays do this as good as anyone. And so to McKinnis to come back to this game, and then I'll kick it over to Tokyo Brandon to give his opinion on this game. I'm just straight handicapping this Seymour for the Rays, Gore for the Rangers, because
Same.
it's Legumine is only going to face those couple right-handed hitters at the top of the Rangers lineup. He's going to be out, and it's going to be Seymour for like 5 or 6 innings. So Tokyo Brandon, Rangers, Rays, is this an exception you'll make when you've got an opener here?
Yeah, I think so because look, both of these teams are hitting really well. I got the Rangers ranked number 4 in MLB, and I got the Rays ranked 9. Now, yesterday's game, the Rays were suppressed, and I don't expect that to happen again today because the Rangers have a pretty bad bullpen. I got them ranked 22, where I got the Rays ranked 5. So, Seymour, I'm capping this just like you, Adam. I'm assuming Seymour is going to get the bulk. And here's a fun fact for this game. Mackenzie Gore has probably the worst home run split in all of Major League Baseball. At home, he's got like a sub 3 or around a 3 ERA, and on the road, he's got 6+ ERA. So he's awful on the road. And given the fact that the Rays were suppressed yesterday, I think I expect a little explosion from them. Kind of risky to bet them on the side because the Rangers hit so well, and the opener, obviously the manager does not have faith in Seymour, so why should I have faith in Seymour? So probably a lot of runs in this game. So if you think Andrew was asking about team totals, I think the Rays team total would be a good bet, but I think the game over also would be a pretty decent bet.
This is one scenario where I don't think it's like Ian Seymour's. He's really good. Like he's kind of like, so this was a guy that when he came up through AAA and he was at Durham, for a while. He was one of those guys that had a good sample at AAA. He was always at the top of my rankings when he was at AAA. The Rays decide, so when he got called up, which I believe was last year, early in this, or like maybe May or so, they didn't really have a spot for him in the starting rotation. So kind of like based on need, they sort of put him into the bullpen. It wasn't the best fit. He went back to Durham. He really is more of like a starter. I know they wanted a lefty reliever at one point in time last year, but he really is more of a starter. So this is one guy, like, I don't think Seymour is good. Like, here's the thing. If Ian Seymour was on a lot of other teams, he's just going out there every fifth day. He's a starter. The Rays, again, I'll go back to my original point. They do this as good as anyone. I don't think Seymour takes offense to having this happen because the Rays are just, they play the analytics game as good as anyone. Like, Amina's going to come in. He's going to face those couple tough righties at the top of the Rangers lineup. And then Seymour's going to come in and probably have his full allotment of pitches. Again, Ian Seymour right now, top 15% Major League Baseball strikeout rate. He's getting elite chase, elite swing and miss. The only issue really for him, in my opinion, is he is an extreme fly ball pitcher. But at the Trop, that's not that big of a deal. This is not a great hitter's park. The ball doesn't carry particularly well in this ballpark. So I don't mind that he's going to I don't mind that he's giving up fly balls in this ballpark. Mackenzie Gore, I've said this a million times. Hot and cold with Mackenzie Gore. When you get the good Mackenzie Gore, he's going to come out and he'll probably throw 7 shutout innings. The problem is the good Mackenzie Gore has not been around in a while. We haven't seen the good Mackenzie Gore since probably over a month. Even last time out, he was okay against the Mariners, but he still only lasted 5 innings and gave up 3 runs and gave up 7 hits. So, this is a Rangers bullpen that's a little tired. They've had some usage of late. I kind of really like the Rays here. I think the Rays bounce back, and they're like 20 cents cheaper than they would have been yesterday. Still having to pay a premium, but this team is like 36-16 at home this year. Kind of like the Rays to bounce back here. You know what? I'm making that my parlay late. I think the Rays, I know it's a little bit, what am I looking at? Like minus 145?
Yeah, it was minus 140 when I saw it. Let me get the up-to-date numbers here for you. But yeah, I can't argue with that. Oh, no, it's minus 136 on Pinnacle, if you trust Pinnacle.
So here's the thing. I find that interesting because it doesn't surprise me at all that Mackenzie Gore is going to take a little bit of money as a dog. It also doesn't surprise me that the Rangers are taking money because, of course, they're now in first place in the AL West. This is a good baseball team, but I'll go back to what I said yesterday. Like, the Rangers are exactly what they are what they are. Quality ball club. They're going to hover around 500. I think this is as high as they've been. 3 games over for the Rangers might be as the high watermark for the season for them. They still have a negative 18 run differential. A negative 18 run differential. Tampa Bay plus 39 in that same metric. And I'll go back to, the Rays. They dropped one yesterday. This team is 38-16 on the road or at home at Tropicana Field, 38-16 at home. And, the Rangers are still sub 500 against 500 or better teams, which of course the Rays are 62-44. And that's kind of like, I feel like the Rangers are the type of team, they kind of take care of business against the lesser teams, and they're probably going to lose more than they win against the top teams in the league. The Rays are one of those top teams. And if someone out there is going to bet the Rangers and give us a playable number on the Rays, I got to take that. So TB, I'm going to go. I'm going to do that for the parlay. We're going to go Rays on the money line, and I just want to see what a fair price on that is. I'm willing to call it minus 140 unless it's moved more. Yeah, we'll call it minus 140. I'll call it minus 140 because I do see minus 142, 141 out there. So we'll call Rays minus 140 as the price for the parlay.
Indy Mofro with the comment of the night. Bad beat if you had the under 28 in Kiwoom LG today. Absolutely. Man, that game was crazy. But I'm sorry. Yeah, this is an MLB show. But man, that KBO game was like a pinball machine. Hilarious stuff. I agree with you, Adam. The only reason I'm wary about Tampa Bay on the side is just the Rangers are hitting so well. But Gore is awful on the road, so yeah, we're probably going to win this parlay.
Love that confidence. We do need it. Parlay, the picks have been good. A lot of 2-1s on the parlay, but we need to hit a couple of these. I think we got as high as like 8 units, and we've slowly given that back and into the negative. So we're going to hit this 2-teamer today. Grant's dad, welcome in. He said, guys, I win every day with your picks. Overall, every day. Grant, we appreciate that. Glad to see you cashing tickets. Always appreciate you jumping in to the chat. I'm seeing, so I'll call that Rays minus 145. I do see it's moved up a little bit. I still think.
I see 136.
Listen, if you can get a 136, congratulations. I do see like minus, Mark Lambert says minus 142. I see some minus 145s. I think it's starting to tick up. For the parlay. Listen, I think minus 145, like you could still probably make a case to bet that straight. Yeah, I would agree. If it gets any higher than that, probably not going to, it's probably leaving straight bet territory, but.
And I'm seeing a total of 7.5, which seems really low to me considering both of these teams kind of smashing lately. Despite Tampa scoring 0 yesterday. They have a good lineup. I mean, Diaz, some guys who can smash. So,
yep.
I think
Bet Dad
is too low. Yeah.
Bet Dad, you're right. That opener is simply because Texas is right-hand heavy at the top of the lineup, and they're going to play the matchups and try to get Seymour into the second inning before he has to face that tough right-heavy part of the Texas lineup. So, absolutely correct on that. All right, so someone commented, yeah, I still got the hat game going. I will get a haircut one of these days. But it's also it's a little bit of a rally cap right now for me, Tokyo Brandon. It's working for me a little bit. Of course, I busted out my D-backs hat today because that was one of my 4%ers yesterday. It was the one I used for $5 Tuesday. Appreciate so much many of you joining me on that. I thought we had a rocking chair winner, and suddenly I was in the sweat of a lifetime for 12 innings. Crazy sort of game right there. It was 6-0 going into the 8th inning. The Pirates come all the way back to tie the game at 6. And then that thing went to 12 innings, and Arizona finally got it done, outlasted the Pirates. They get the win that I feel like I deserve. I feel like if you get to the 8th inning with a 6-0 lead, more often than not, you should win that game. Some people in the chat asking what to do today. A lot of bullpen usage, and honestly, more of it probably for the Diamondbacks. So Pirates, D-backs, do you have an opinion here, Tokyo Brandon?
I was with you on the Diamondbacks, but I had them first 5, so it was absolutely a rocking chair win for me.
Yeah, there you go.
It got a little dicey at the end, but we both came through. Like I said, guys, we're 3 different cappers, but we all win and we all bet a totally different way. So, but we're all successful in what we do because we live, breathe, and eat this. You can ask our significant others, our girlfriends, our fiancés, whether we pay more attention to baseball or them, and they will probably all answer the same thing. So, as opposed to others who are taking pictures with fancy cars and stuff, we are basically watching baseball all day. So, whether it be in Asia or in the U.S. So, regarding this one, Jones had a very rocky start to the season. But he's calmed down a bit. He's, anytime you can throw 100 miles an hour and consistently, you're bound to get strikeouts, and he's finally coming to where I feel he should be. And I feel he's going to improve even more. As a matter of fact, my expected numbers for him have him ranked 6 on a curve of 30, which is pretty darn good. He's not walking anyone. His walk to strikeout rate is 19%, and I consider 30 to 40% to be acceptable. Eduardo Rodriguez, got him ranked a lot lower, but yeah, he's walking a few people as well. But actually, I kind of like him. Pirates right now, they were red hot with their bats, but they gotten pretty cold lately. Got them ranked 23 in current form, where I got the Diamondbacks ranked 3. But I think Jones can handle those Diamondbacks bats, because I think Jones is just going to get better and better as the season goes. And Adam, I know you're high on him too, so you'll probably agree with me on that one. So I don't know. What's the total here? 8.5? Seems a little high to me, given I think these two pitchers are going to have a pretty good game. Even I think Jones will have a better game, but he's facing the harder lineup. And Rodriguez, who is the poorer of the two pitchers, is facing the worst lineup. So to me, that equals an under. So whether you play it first 5 or play it full game, I think under's the way to go in this one. I wouldn't touch the side.
Tokyo Brandon, I'm very much with you on the under being the way to go. I'm a little bit scared of the bullpens here, and some of the wind blowing out in Pittsburgh today, but I don't think the wind is as big of a deal. The bullpens are a big deal. So I think if I was going to play the under or play a total in this one, it would have to be first 5. I'm really tempted to just come back today and play the Pirates. The only thing that puts me off the Pirates here, well, 2 things. One, they did have some big-time bullpen usage yesterday as well, and it's not a bullpen that I particularly trust right now. And 2, I like this Pirates team so much better against right-handed pitching. And they're up against a lefty in Eduardo Rodriguez today, and they're up against a lefty that's thrown the ball pretty well this year. So those are the 2 things, sort of like, those are really the 2 reasons that I haven't bet the Pirates already, because I think you're getting Jones at this price, like minus 125 to minus 130 range. Like, at home, coming off of a loss where the other team doesn't have much bullpen, like that's a pretty favorable sort of set of circumstances to take the Pirates, who I do think are the better of these 2 teams. You know I was on the D-backs yesterday, but part of the reason I was on Arizona was because I felt like the Pirates bullpen set up horribly yesterday. And also I got something wrong. I did not think Esmeralda Valdez was going to play. So that's probably the most important takeaway. He got drilled on the hand. Of course, we saw Curtis Mead get drilled on the hand. He's out for probably the rest of the year. I didn't know what the status was of Valdez, other than they said, "Oh, looks like a bone bruise. He's fine." But typically, you get drilled on the hand with a baseball, you're missing a day or 2.
And
now,
in your hand, you have a lot of tiny little bones. And just one of them gets bruised, and that's like 2 weeks out, right? I mean, you got tons of tiny little bones. Have you ever seen a dinosaur skeleton? That's what your hand looks like, right? So,
yeah. Now I want to point something out here. This is probably the most important point I'll make on this game, and it pertains to the Pittsburgh side and the under. Esmeralda Valdez yesterday went 1 for 6. Now, he had a double. He hit the ball hard a couple times. But this is a guy that's been just pummeling the baseball for the last month and a half. I would be curious how the hand held up after playing with it and having 6 at-bats, because this is a day game, so this is an early start. Listen, if you see a Pirates lineup today and Esmeralda Valdez is not in that lineup, that's a big deal, because this is, again, the Pirates profile better against right-handed pitching than they do left-handed pitching. Now, there's still a really good lineup either way, but one of their lefty mashers is going to be Valdez. And if they decide, hey, like, let's give him a day, he played through it yesterday, let's give him a day off here because there's some soreness there. I would not want the Pirates if that's the case. And actually, it makes the case for your under even stronger, TV.
Getting hit on the hand is a catastrophic event for a hitter, because he's so distracted, and timing is everything when you're a hitter. So reading and timing is everything. Getting hit on the hand is real bad news. I'd rather get hit in the head than the hand if I'm a hitter.
Yeah, well, it depends what part of the head, but honestly, yeah. The hard part of the helmet, sure.
Yeah. Because I think your head will heal faster than your hand.
Um, I had two during my baseball career. I had two hand injuries, broke a finger and this bone. And yeah, they were those. Neither were fun. Neither
Not
both
at
took a
all.
long time to come back from. Um,
Even the wrist, someone saying it was the wrist, not the hand, but the
wrist is
wrist
worse.
also,
Wrist
it's
is
actually
worse.
worse.
You'd rather like I broke this bone here, and it was a much quicker recovery time than the wrist
Yeah.
will keep you out of.
Yeah.
Like I think Curtis Mead is the wrist. He's not going to be back this year. That's brutal
You
for
have
the
to
Red Sox.
snap. You have to snap your wrist when you're
Yeah.
swinging a bat. You don't snap your fingers, right? Getting hit on the wrist is much worse because the wrist actually moves when you swing. Not good.
Mark Lambert said, "Not scared of fading Erod. It's Erod day." Listen, that's the way I was looking at it. I thought I was going to be all over Jared Jones here, but I got to see a lineup first. I'll make my determination after I
Adam,
see a lineup.
yeah, you were high on Jared Jones even when he was struggling, when he first
Oh, he's
came
got
back.
electric stuff,
Yeah.
incredible
Yeah.
stuff that guy
And
has.
we knew he would come around because he's
Yep.
just good. And when him and Skeens came out together, it was like which one's going to be better? Obviously Skeens was better, but is that because Jones was injured? Jones has potential to be just as good as Skeens. So, yeah.
All right, let's get
He's a
one
good
more
pitcher.
in. Let's get one more in. We already locked the parlay. We got time for one more. That actually this is let's go to this game. Let's go out west. Interesting series here. Mariners Dodgers. We didn't talk about it yesterday, so I feel like we got to get the Dodgers into the mix.
Ugh.
Crazy, kind of a crazy game yesterday. I got to be honest. I was pretty locked into that A's game last night. So Tokyo Brandon, I did not watch a ton of Mariners Dodgers. I kind of had tabs on it, but I also didn't really expect the Mariners to sort of come from behind and win that game like they did. Big win for the Mariners. That was a win that they desperately needed, and now they're going to have a chance to potentially get another one. It's Eric Lauer, former Kia Tiger, on the mound for the Dodgers, and Emerson Hancock, someone that might not be a Mariner for much longer, as his name comes up in trade talks. So, how do you
Yeah.
see Mariners Dodgers? Does that matter to you at all? Do the Dodgers bounce back?
So every once in a while, you run across pitchers. By the way, guys, get a double play. Brian's got a 5% out today. Adam and I have two 4% out today. Adam, in his MLB, usually makes his plays minimum 4%. So we're all going to have something of a high quality play today. So get a double play. Two of us three, we're let's face it, we're three of the best handicappers at WagerTalk. So you can't go wrong. Um, Go to wagertalk.com and just find under any of our pages, find the double play package and grab it. So every once in a while, the books will fall in love with a certain pitcher and overrate him, and they'll also hate a certain pitcher and underrate him. Um, it's my opinion that Emerson Hancock is a little bit overrated by the books. He hasn't been performing. Now, I liked him at the beginning of the season, but he's fallen off quite a bit, in my opinion. I got him ranked 13 on a curve of 30, which he's right, slightly above mediocre. I think a lot of that is from the start of the season because I've watched a couple of his more recent starts and he doesn't look very good, actually. So I think maybe that's possible. We could take advantage of this. I think obviously the Dodgers are the better team, but the problem with betting the Dodgers is they don't care about the regular season, and it's obvious when you watch them play. They're just going through the motions. I mean, they all are. They're basically playing like just don't get hurt and let's get through this because they know they're going to win 90 games whether they try or not. So that's the problem with betting the Dodgers. They're the most talented team in Major League Baseball, hands down. They have the best lineup in Major League Baseball, hands down, in my opinion. Maybe Adam will argue. But 1 through 9, I don't see anyone better than that. The problem is they're going through the motions, and it's obvious. You watch them play, and it's like there's no intensity whatsoever. And intensity means something, you know? When you're up there with bases loaded and 2 outs in the World Series, it's a lot different than when you're playing in July and you know you're going to make the playoffs and you're trying not to get injured. So this is my problem betting the Dodgers. I would like to take them today to bounce back. Lauer is not a very good pitcher, so you always get a decent number when he's on the mound. He's probably their worst rotation starter. Maybe it's Sheehan. I don't know. I think Sheehan's better than Lauer, but uh, Hancock little overrated. I think we're getting a pretty good number to take the Dodgers here, but I am not betting a Seattle Mariners game, just like I'm not betting a San Diego Padres game. But those are my thoughts on the game. Do you disagree?
I agree with virtually everything you said, especially as it pertains to the Dodgers. This team is 67-40, and I think it's a reasonable to say they've gone through the motions for a lot of the season. David Edgington in the chat right here. Otani was pissed and shaking his head because Tucker didn't score on his hit. It's little things like that, and it's like they almost have looked bored at times. I made the comment that coming out of the break, they got up for the series at Yankee Stadium, the series in Philly, like, because those feel like playoff games. If you've ever been, listen, I go to a lot of baseball games. You go to Yankee Stadium on a Friday night, does not matter what time of the year it is. It feels like a playoff game. You go to Citizens Bank Park on a weekend, it feels like a playoff game. Same thing a lot of times with Citi Field as well. Like, when a big team and a big name comes to town. It's not like that everywhere else. And right now, yeah, I do feel like the Dodgers in this series, they're home. The Mariners are not a big name. It felt like they were kind of going through the motions, and I wouldn't be surprised if that carries over to here, because again, they're 67-40. They woke up this morning with an 11.5 game lead in the division. It's like and you'll see this. Here's what's going to happen. You'll see this for a lot of the next couple months. Listen, I don't even know if the Dodgers are going to make many moves at the deadline. If they do and they bring in a piece, will they be energized a little bit? Maybe. But the thing that's going to energize this Dodgers team is the playoffs. When the playoffs start, like Tokyo Brandon said, they have the best team, they have the best players, and they probably will be the best teams. Will be the best team. Right now, the team that desperately needs these games and that's scratching and clawing is the Mariners. Now, Emerson Hancock is in a weird spot because remember, he's in trade talks. This was a former first round, I think 6th overall pick for the Mariners. He's been with them his entire career. I'd love to know where his head is at right now with some of that. Like Tokyo Brandon said, he's been a little up and down as a starter, but you know what? Last couple times out, really really going back the last month or so, he's looked really good again. Last time out, 2 runs over 6 innings against the Reds. The start before that, well, I guess he had a relief appearance against the Rays. I think in the start before that was against the Blue Jays, 7 scoreless, looked great. I like Hancock, so he's a guy that I'm willing to back. What I don't love here is a little bit of bullpen usage for the Mariners. I think I would take Mariners plus 1.5 here and lay the minus 130 if I had to bet this game, and that is likely the way I will look.
We are going over an hour today, so forget it. I don't care if Kelly calls Adam.
I'm conscious of that. We will wrap it up here because we want to keep the show does better if it's shorter than an hour for YouTube. But I also don't know who's behind us programming wise, so I don't want to get in trouble with that. Yeah. But I did as soon as
we lose TV when it was we lose one guy and we go longer.
Well, when it was just me and you, out of respect to Brian, listen, he gets up and does the show at 6 a.m. on the West Coast every day. So he's trying to wake up. He's trying to get certain plays in. That's, we try to stay, and we've also have to stay into our programming slot. But I knew you and I together would go a little bit longer. We still hit 6 games thoroughly, and a little handicapping strategy discussion mixed in there as well. And double play package. Myself and TB. Bryan Leonard has a 5%er out, so we should point that out. He's got a 5%. He's headed back home for a little bit, so we wish him safe travels. Hope everything is good there. Can't wait till he is back. TB, you and I gotta get this parlay going in the right direction. See if we can hit a 2-teamer today. I'm going with the Rays on the money line, and Tokyo Brandon is going with Tigers Orioles under 4 in the first 5. So nice little 2-teamer. Try to get the juices flowing. That's Tigers Orioles under 4 minus 120 in the first 5, and Rays money line. We'll call it minus 145. Tokyo Brandon, anything else you want to promote before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'll be doing an MLB Sunday morning show, and I go almost 2 hours for that. So if you like long shows, join me on my YouTube channel. I don't have management.
Andy, you know what? Andy Lang says it's July 29th. There ain't anything to talk about right after you guys. Let's go one more. Let's do one more game. We just went over the hour. If if Kelly yells at me, it wouldn't be the first time. Probably wouldn't be the 50th time if we're being honest. And so I'll take that right there. Let's go back to the chat. We got a lot of people in here. we got a lot of people in here. Yeah, we'll go long today. We'll go long today. Let's get one more game. Let's see. See. I'm going to the chat. Let's see.
Someone said Astros. I don't know. Someone else said something else.
Let's go. You know what? Let's do a later game to give it some shelf life. Yeah, we could do that. Astros Angels, because I got some thoughts on these pitchers. I've been watching them at the AAA level. So Astros Angels. How about Yordan Alvarez, TB? How about Yordan Alvarez? Another home run last night. The ball coming off of his bat sounds like a cannon right now. He's probably the best player in Major League Baseball at this moment. His Astros, so it looks like here, you're going to have Hayden Wesneski, who's been coming back from injury. He's been down at in the minors doing his rehab. And then Grayson Rodriguez, who is probably up here still because the Angels truly just don't have a better option. He's really struggled at the big league level for them this year, and he's going to make another start. So Tokyo Brandon, Astros Angels, how are you seeing it?
So it's very interesting at this time of year because you can tell the teams, I don't want to say throwing in the towel, but you can tell the teams that know that the writing is on the wall and they're basically looking to see what they got for next year and just kind of, they don't care. So the players are always playing for a contract. But to get to our Dodgers point before, you think Mookie Betts is worried about getting a contract next year? He's not. So that's why the Dodgers play a little lackadaisical, because they're guaranteed to get a contract next year. But some of these guys are not. So those are the guys who are giving it their all, even if they're down 13-0 in July. So regarding this one, I see the Angels bullpen has been really good this year. And I don't know where this has come from, because the last 5 years, they've been ranked like bottom 5 in bullpen. So maybe Adam knows a little more about what guys at minor leaguers they added or whatnot. But man, this bullpen is performing really well this year. And Houston's bullpen is not bad either. I don't like Grayson Rodriguez though. And he's a pitcher that I've liked to fade a lot. Not just his 8.54 ERA, but he just looks bad, and he wasn't always this bad, but I was fading him when he was with the Orioles. His whip is 179, and he's got more than 6 starts under his belt. This is ridiculous. He doesn't belong in Major League Baseball right now. So I think what the Angels are doing is they've got nothing else, and they don't need to win. So they're throwing stuff on the wall to see what sticks, basically. And I think the Astros still have a shot at something. I don't know a lot about Wesneski, but I do know that the Angels have the better bullpen, but the Astros have the better hitting. Got the Astros ranked 13, got the Angels ranked 21. But this looks like I don't know if I can say the S word, but this looks like a S show to me. I see a bunch of stuff flying around. It looks usually when you get a S show out there, you see a lot of high scores. So I expect to see a lot of high scores today. That's how I would approach this one.
So Hayden Wesneski, you'll remember from the Cubs. He was on the Cubs for years, and last year his season got shut down due to elbow surgery. So that's where he's been. That's why you haven't seen him for a while. He missed considerable time, pretty much missed most of last year with the elbow surgery. And this year, if you, depending on when you have the surgery and if you have a setback, it's going to take a year. So that's why you're just seeing him now. So let's take a look at his rehab. He started rehab back on June 30th, and he's made 5 minor league rehab appearances since. And the numbers are good. 1.12 whip, a 227 batting average against. I watched his most recent start at against Nashville. Not a great AAA lineup. He was okay. 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 4 1/3, gave up 1 run. I actually have always liked this guy. So right off the bat, TB, even though we haven't seen, Wesneski at the big league level this year, this was a guy I really liked in the Cubs organization. He was actually the Yankees actually drafted him back in 2019, but I always liked him in the big leagues with the Cubs, and I think he's going to be fine for the Astros. I think he's a serviceable option at starting pitcher. Now, you've said it with Grayson Rodriguez. Listen, Grayson Rodriguez, everyone will remember him as a top prospect for the Orioles, but this is a guy that's also come off of a big arm injury, missed an entire season. He does not look like the same guy that was a former first rounder. And to your point, the Angels, listen, they've hit on some of these bullpen guys. I talked about this earlier this year where they went out and sort of got this collection of arms that were like guys that maybe could start a game, probably better in the bullpen, and they hit on some of them. And that's why their bullpen has been pretty good. But you know why another reason their bullpen has good numbers? Because they're always behind. They trail a lot. A lot of their innings come when they're, down 3 runs. It's a little bit easier to pitch. It's not a ton of leverage innings for the Angels bullpen. And then the other thing the Angels are terrible at doing is developing pitching. We talk about the Rays and the Brewers, these teams that are like really, really good at identifying and developing pitchers. The Angels might be the worst. They're at the other end of that spectrum. So Grayson Rodriguez comes here. He's been terrible. Last time out, pummeled by the Giants. Time before, crushed by the Tigers. The Astros are playing great ball. I'd be really surprised if the Astros don't smoke him today. And so I do like the Astros in this game.
Mm-hmm. You make a really good point about pitching because for pitchers, leverage or like stress moments are very important. When you have a base open and it's the second inning and you're losing by 3 runs, you're not really like laser focused on drilling a pitch into the strike zone. Whereas in the 9th inning, if the bases are loaded and you're protecting a 1-run lead, you are laser focused on hitting that strike zone. So you make a good point there. When you're always behind, you pitch a lot looser. And when you're looser, you actually pitch better because you can just grip it and rip it, so to speak. So that's a good point.
TB, it's why there aren't many good closers in Major League Baseball. It is a tough job.
Very stressful.
Those last 3 outs.
You know what? Closers are king of the den, though. In the bullpens, the closers the closers pick the music. The closers choose who sits where. The closers are the boss of the bullpen, though. It's kind of funny how that works. But yeah, it's because they're brought in at the most difficult time. It's so hard to throw a strike on a full count when the bases are loaded. It's really hard to throw a strike. Trust me.
Or the game on the line. No room for error. You know, like when there's no room for error. Absolutely. R. Reynolds, this is a good bet. He said, I sprinkled Astros 5-1 to win the AL West the other day. Felt like it was good value. There's no great team in that division. The Mariners are average. The Rangers are average. Of course, we know the Angels and the A's are out of it. Yeah, why not? That's a good bet right there. So props to you. Regardless of what happens, getting the Astros at 5-1 to win that division is a great bet. I'm going to upgrade that. Great bet that you made right there. Freebird says, great show. Thanks, gentlemen. And Andy, we love the longer show. Yeah, shout out to Andy Lang for permission to go longer right there.
We could probably go for like 2.5 hours if there were no limits. It's so funny.
Yeah, I'm not trying to push my luck like that. We'll wrap it up here, but if you are looking for more betting content today, Andy and his crew will be on at noon right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. WagerTalk today with football around the corner. That's a show that you're going to want to start adding if you haven't already into your everyday sort of prep. A bunch of great guests lined up with football season around the corner. We're going to be watching preseason football within a week or two. So that's crazy that it's that close. Until then, we'll be here to give you all the baseball info that you need. And once again, our 2-teamer today, Rays on the money line, Tigers, Orioles, first 5 under 4. We'll see you guys tomorrow right here, 9 a.m. Eastern for another episode of Total Basis. Go grab a double play, me and TV, or Bryan Leonard, 5%er out. You can use him as well on that special. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m.